teacher of grade 5 at Mary E. Griswold as Teacher of the Year for 2023. In the fall of 2015, Kristen was hired by the Berlin Public Schools as a 5th grade teacher at Griswold School. Kristen's goal is to make each student feel comfortable in a family-oriented environment where they feel loved, important, and supported. Most importantly, Kristen believes in celebrating students' mistakes in a meaningful way to teach them the valuable lifelong lessons. During her tenure in Berlin, Kristen has served on multiple committees that support her school and the district. She currently serves on the Griswold Climate Committee, the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee, and as a Berlin Summer Band Camp teacher. Kristen has continued professional learning by taking part in a variety of workshops, reading widely about topics related to her work, and to changing the needs of students and striving for the highest professional standards. Kristen feels privileged to have a teaching job where she's continuously impacted the lives of children she teaches. A colleague shared, in her 7 years at Griswold School, she has shown incredible leadership within the school and district community. Kristen is known to be warm, open, caring, not only towards her students, but also towards her colleagues. Clear and frequent communication with parents via multiple different avenues is a trait of Kristen's that is admired by her peers and appreciated by parents. Congratulations to Kristen Baudet. Kristen's not here this evening. Each year, we announce the Teacher of the Year at the June board meeting, and then the Teacher of the Year comes to a board meeting later in the year and speaks to the public. So. Please join me in congratulating Guillermo Rivera from Berlin High School as Berlin's Paraprofessional of the Year for 2023. Guillermo truly exemplifies the definition of paraprofessional with his calm and humble demeanor. He easily established rapport with students and colleagues. He is well respected and goes well beyond for all. Guillermo is a man of many talents and brings his many gifts to the RISE program at Berlin High School. For example, Guillermo has filled in as an understudy in the unified play, created a RISE holiday photo session, provided translation services for parents, and even cut a student's hair at their school. Guillermo is patient and effective in breaking down assignments so that our learners can access the curriculum in many settings. He has worked with challenging students, and even when students have difficult behaviors, he remains calm and professional. He is often able to help students to regain composure and re-engage them in learning. He has become an adult role model for the students in the RISE, as well as other students at Berlin High School. He is simply a quality individual who thinks of others before himself. His genuine caring for students shines as everything else he does. As I said before about Kristen, Guillermo will be asked to speak and be recognized at a future board meeting also. Congratulations to both. Thank you. If I could ask Principal Eustace to come forward.
Good evening, everyone, and I have the pleasure of having the opportunity to recognize so many of our Berlin High School students. So first, I'd like to start with our Berlin High School valedictorian, Jacob Smalley, if you would please come forward. From advanced and honors to AP and UConn ECE courses, Jacob has challenged himself academically since entering Berlin High School. He has earned numerous academic awards and achieved high honors status throughout all 4 years of high school. Jacob is a U.S. Presidential Scholars Program nominee, recipient of the Harvard Book Award, and has been named an AP Scholar with distinction. He is a member of the Rho Kappa National Social Studies Honor Society and National Honor Society. In addition to rigorous academics, Jacob has been actively involved in multiple activities both at school and in the community. He serves as a house leader in the Upbeat Peer Leadership Program, has coached Berlin Youth Flag Football, and has volunteered at Sacred Heart Church food drives and McGee Middle School drop-ins. Jacob is an athlete, having played 4 years of both basketball and football at Berlin High. He has been named a CCC All-Academic for football and basketball during all 4 years of high school. Jacob has spent the past couple of summers employed by the Berlin Parks and Recs and Parks and Recs Department as a summer camp counselor. Quiet but steadfast, he's going to go on and do great things. He plans to attend the University of Notre Dame after graduating from Berlin High School to study chemical engineering. Congratulations, Jacob. Next, we would like to recognize our salutatorian, Sage Beetman, if you could please come forward. It's nice to have everybody back, even though they all officially graduated on Friday. Sage Beetman exemplifies teamwork, commitment, and dedication not only to academics, but also to her extracurricular activities. She has taken advantage of extensive AP and UConn ECE course offerings, resulting in selection as an AP Scholar. She has earned numerous academic awards in a variety of courses, high honor status all 4 years, the Seal of Biliteracy for Spanish, and has received the Gettysburg College Book Award for Distinguished Study of American History. Sage was one of 3 students selected to represent Connecticut at the Conference of National Affairs in 2021 and will be attending the 2022 conference with a Holocaust education proposal. She was nominated as a Jewish Community Relations Council of Greater Hartford Executive Representative, where she is the sole teen voice to engage, educate, and mobilize the local Jewish community regarding social justice, diversity, and anti-Semitism. Sage's extracurricular activities include serving as an upbeat house leader, team leader of the BHS Unity team, and serving as a BHS student ambassador. She was selected as a student representative to the BHS Equity Advocate Committee and the Safe School Climate Committee, and is a member of the debate team, Youth and Government Club, National Honor Society. Sage is co-president of the Interact Club and president of the Rho Kappa National Social Studies Honor Society. She has volunteered at Willard Elementary School and Berlin Peck Memorial Library and is employed at Emmanuel Synagogue. Sage is very involved in the dance community as a member of a competition dance team and as a teacher and mentor to younger students. Sage plans to attend the University of Richmond in the fall to pursue a degree in accounting on the pathway toward law school. Congratulations, Sage. Next, we would like to recognize our Connecticut Association of Schools Scholar Athletes. The Scholar Athlete Program annually recognizes 2 high school seniors from each member high school whose academic and athletic careers have been exemplary, whose personal standards and achievements are a model to others, and who possess high levels of integrity, self-discipline, and courage. Our first Scholar Athlete is Jonathan Damore. If he would come forward. Is he here, John? Okay. Jonathan Damore is a 3-season varsity athlete who has been named to the All-Conference, All-Current, All-Herald, All-State, and All-Academic teams for football. He was ranked 2nd in Connecticut for total tackles as a sophomore and 1st as a senior. He has also earned all academic honors for basketball and baseball. He is involved in the local athletic community, coaching and volunteering for Berlin youth football. Academically, John has excelled in a rigorous academic program. He has earned high honors status each year and been nominated to the Rho Kappa National Social Studies Honor Society and the National Honor Society. He is a member of Unified Theater and the DECA Business Club, where he earned a leadership role with his competition team. Jonathan plans to attend Bentley University in the fall, where he will major in actuarial science and play football. So congratulations to John. Our next Scholar Athlete, if she will come forward, Claire McGeever. Claire is a 3-season varsity athlete participating in soccer, lacrosse, and basketball both at Berlin High School and at the club level outside of the high school. She has been named to the all-academic teams for all 3 sports and all-conference for basketball and lacrosse. She is co-captain of the lacrosse team and was named the Coach's Award winner. Claire also served as a captain for basketball her senior year. She has been recognized as a Hartford Current Player of the Week, Defensive Player of the Year, and was on the CCC South Conference Championship team for basketball. Claire is a high honors student who has challenged herself academically with a rigorous schedule. She has been nominated to the National Honor Society and to Rho Kappa National Social Studies Honor Society. She is involved in multiple extracurricular activities, including social chair of the class of 2022, and is a member of the Ryan T. Lee Memorial Foundation Club, Youth and Government, the Debate Club, and Unified Theater. Claire is also a coordinator of the Upbeat program, Berlin's Peer Leadership and Community Service program. Claire will attend Bates College in the fall to pursue a political science degree and plans to play lacrosse. Congratulations, Claire.
Thank you. Also, all the baseball boys are having a great right now.
Okay, gotcha. Baseball has a banquet tonight, so that's why we're missing a few. Okay, next we'd like to recognize our Connecticut Association Arts Award winners. The Cass Arts Awards annually honor 2 outstanding seniors from each member school who excel in the performing or visual arts. While excelling in the performing or visual arts is of primary importance, scholarship and leadership are also supporting criteria. Our first recipient for visual art is Erin Riggett. Is Erin here tonight? Can she come forward, Erin? Okay. Erin has shown dedication to the arts throughout her high school career. She regularly goes above and beyond class expectations by taking things further with great care and attention to detail. This innate desire to learn and self-motivation often make her a role model in the classroom. She is quick to compliment her peers' work as well as offer a helping hand when a classmate is struggling. Erin will attend Central Connecticut State University in the fall, majoring in art education so that she can share her love and passion for art with others. Having Erin now in the AP Studio Art and Design 2D class and watching her persevere and blossom, Mrs. Miller has no doubt that Erin will make an excellent art teacher. Congratulations to Erin. Our next Cass Arts Award recipient is Laura Sarazen. If she will please come forward. Laura Sarason has enjoyed many years of success in the performing arts. Laura has been an active member of the Music and Theater Arts Department throughout her high school career, participating in theatrical performances, singing with 2 choral ensembles, and briefly participating as a member of the marching band's color guard. In addition, she is an active performer outside of school in the greater Berlin community. Whether she's on stage performing in the school play or musical or rehearsing for the next concert with one of the 2 vocal ensembles she sings with, Laura approaches her work with a clear passion for the performing arts while also striving to learn more and hone her craft. Laura is a model student for her peers and is always excited to jump in and help another student find the joy of performing arts. Laura's approach to her work is a direct representation of the purpose and passion she brings to the performing arts, and she represents herself, the Music and Theater Arts Department, and our school with great pride. Laura hopes to take her abilities to the screen one day and act in film and television. She's excited to be turning her passion into a profession at Emerson College in the fall, majoring in theater and performance. Congratulations, Laura. Next, we would like to briefly recognize our students that are part of All-State Chorus. The Connecticut Music Educators Association offers opportunities for students to participate in all-state festival ensembles. Students who have successfully completed participation in their high school region festival are eligible to audition for All-State during that same school year, and if selected, will create music alongside the finest high school musicians in the state under the direction of regionally and nationally celebrated conductors. This year, the following students were selected: Meredith Gendro and Elise Nimick. Congratulations. If you'd come forward, please.
Next, I'd like to ask Tracy Sisti from the Board of Education to come forward to present the Connecticut Association of Boards of Education Awards.
Good evening. The CAPE Student Leadership Awards program is designed to honor Connecticut high school and middle school students who exhibit exemplary leadership skills. 2 students from each school are eligible. From Berlin High, Emily Kobus. Curious, intelligent, talented, and involved are just a few words that describe Emily. She has been an integral part of the high school community. Academically, Emily has always taken pride in her schoolwork. She goes out of her way to find connections between her classes to further her learning, and she takes on appropriate challenges along the way. She has pushed herself in much of her diverse coursework and has learned to be a leader in the classroom. On top of Emily's academic success, she has been highly involved in the high school community, especially Upbeat, our peer leadership and community outreach program. This year, she earned a position as one of the program's coordinators. She has been able to lead and grow with her peers as they perform community service projects for the school and surrounding community. Emily is also student government president, organizing events for the student body, planning fundraisers, and communicating and collaborating with each of the 4 grades in the high school. Further, as Emily would like to pursue a career in government and politics, she's a member of the debate team, unity team, and youth in government, and served as a campaign intern for Berlin's Democratic Town Committee. She has been a member of many other clubs and groups in our school and is truly a well-rounded, diverse member of our community. Emily is a young woman that is driven to succeed while always looking to get involved and help others learn and grow. She will double major in political science and public communications at the University of Vermont this fall. Congratulations, Emily. And the next recipient is Lindsay Leary. Lindsay is hardworking, driven, passionate, kind, and responsible. Always willing to put in the time needed, whether that be to find success in class or to help with the club or events with the class of 2022. She is there. She has mastered the ability to manage her time and has a work ethic unmatched by many, qualities that will serve her well moving onto the collegiate level and beyond. Throughout her high school career, Lindsay has pushed herself in academics by taking advanced level courses with great success. Failure is not in her vocabulary. Lindsay's hard work has earned her a GPA of 100.64. On top of her academic aptitude, Lindsay is highly involved in the high school community. She plays soccer and lacrosse. She has been elected to serve as one of 2 Board of Education student representatives, which she is a voice for her peers. She is a talented writer, contributing as a writer and fact checker for a student-run international news organization named Newspective, in addition to the Berlin High School newspaper. On top of extracurricular activities, she works as a lifeguard at the local pool in the summers. She will certainly make a big mark on our world, using her voice to further awareness in a kind, calm way, as that is her personality. Lindsay will be attending George Washington University in the fall, studying political science. Congratulations, Lindsay. And from McGee, we have Grace Buckles. Grace lives with her mom, dad, and sister Leah, who's in 5th grade at Willard School. Her 3 dogs, Bentley, Oliver, and Finley, also serve as companions. At school, Grace excels both academically and athletically. Her favorite subjects are math, science, and writing, and she also has some memorable teachers, Mr. Sonarelli, Miss Bazzali, and Mrs. Pandolfi. She has participated in McGee basketball with her favorite coach, Miss Cooper. She has been a member of the track team and takes golf lessons. Grace loves the beach, me too, and spends time in Rhode Island, Maine, and cruising whenever possible. Grace epitomizes the qualities of a student leader. She is dedicated, thoughtful, and reflective. Grace is a conscientious student who values learning and is willing to take academic risks in order to grow. She is a respectful student who values the opinions and thoughts of others. She will also assume leadership roles in the classroom by guiding her peers through various challenges and encouraging them to succeed. In short, Grace is an outstanding student, athlete, and leader in her community. She is caring and compassionate. These qualities will serve her well in the future as she aspires to work in the medical field, possibly as a pediatrician. These qualities also will serve her well right now, as we are proud to recognize her as a recipient of the CABE Student Leadership Award. Congratulations, Grace.
Congratulations, Grace.
And the next student is Paolo Cultura? Cultura. Okay, sorry. Paolo lives with his mom, dad, and brother, Sal, who is a graduate of BHS class of 2020. He is a soccer player and car enthusiast. His 2 favorites are the 1969 Camaro and Ferrari F40. Paolo, who wants to work in the engineering field, enjoyed the robotics and trebuchet. Did I say that right? Trebuchet? Okay. Building, and I had to look that up, by the way, what that was, because I didn't know. Building and STEAM class at McGee. Paolo is a standout as he is amongst the most conscientious students in his class. He pays close attention to details and asks probing questions to ensure that his work is always up to and beyond standard. Paolo is respectful, kind, and watches out for his fellow classmates. He constantly seems to be the one who steps up and helps others understand assignment expectations and ways to achieve success. Paolo is a responsible citizen in the hallways and caring teammate on the soccer field. Paolo is a solid go-to leader among his peers and undoubtedly a deserving recipient of the CABE Student Leadership Award. Congratulations, Paolo.
If I could have Principal Eustace come back up.
Thank you. Next, we would like to take the opportunity to recognize students that held various leadership roles this past year at Berlin High School. So when I call your name, if you would please come forward. First, we'd like to recognize the class of 2022 officers, President Michael Vignon, Vice Presidents Kyle Carlone, Olivia Salina, Secretary Justin Padavina, Treasurer Jacob Furland, and Social Chair Claire McGeever. Next, our student government officers for this past year, President Emily Kobus, Vice President Michael Damiana, and Secretary Treasurer Emily Lamoureux. And finally, we'd like to recognize our National Honor Society officers, President Garrett Fallon, Vice Presidents Sean Hunt and Lindsay Leary, Secretary Jacob Furlan, and Treasurer Michael Vignon.
I have the privilege of recognizing there's two students, and one of them has been called up a number of times tonight, but there's two students that sit with the Board of Education, and then are here for these monthly meetings, or if we have two meetings, they're here with us for hours, and they deserve some recognition. So at this time, I'd like to ask Lindsay Leary and Samantha Negro, to come forward, please. At this time, I'm going to turn it back over to Tracy Sisti, the board chair.
I was just commenting when I was up there reading the list of things. I'm amazed at what our students achieve right now. I mean, between extracurricular and keeping up with grades and everything, it was just, the list just kept going and going. And it wasn't like that when I was in school. Maybe you did a sport or a play or something, but I was very, very impressed. Does anybody on the board have anything they'd like to say?
I think we just want to extend our congratulations to everyone. Keep up the great work. You clearly have bright futures and have accomplished a great deal thus far. So thank you for representing Berlin so well.
I'll just say that the senior class especially has been a special class for the town of Berlin, and it's sad to see them go, but based on what you heard this evening, tremendous accomplishments. They have a bright future ahead of them, and they'll certainly be missed.
Okay, moving on for committee reports. Anything from the student representatives?
Yes, we have a short one tonight. June 2nd, I mentioned at our last meeting, our second semester seniors held their capstone exhibition. So they presented during the day and then had their second exhibition at night. So congrats to all of those seniors. Last week and the week before, BHS held awards night and scholarship night to celebrate the accomplishments of all the students. And we just saw today how huge those accomplishments are. So congrats to all those seniors. And finally, this past Friday, the class of 2022 had their successful graduation. It was a wonderful night, and congrats to all the graduates.
And we wanted to start off by saying congrats to all of the spring sports athletes. They all had really great seasons, and a special congratulations to the girls golf team. They won the CIAC state championship. Junior Libby Dunn also impressed everybody by trying for the first state open, so congrats to all of them. And then Jazz with Pizzazz was a great success, and they raised over $6,000 for the program with all the different fundraising that they did that night. And that's all we have.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Lindsay, for your last report. Okay, committee reports. Did anybody meet? Not yet. He said to wait. Go ahead, sorry.
Finance and Operations did meet since our last meeting, I believe, or did we meet just before the last meeting? Brian, I forget now, time-wise. Did we already talk about our stuff? It was right before our regular meeting. Yeah, okay. Apologies, we did not meet. We're losing.
You all can leave. We were going to have you go after this, but that's okay. You just go right now. Let's just go. Do you want them to leave at the end? Lindsay and...
It's up to Lindsay and Sam.
You have nothing better to do? Okay. Well, I guess we don't need to take a break later on then. Okay, no, there's nothing. So are we done with all the other committee reports? Yes, okay, nothing on the correct. Okay, correspondence to the board?
Sure, I have one correspondence to the board. Dear members of the Board of Education, thank you for the gift of the orchid. The flower is beautiful, and your thoughts are appreciated during this passing of my father, Sarazen.
Okay, now we're going to have time for audience to citizens. I'm just going to read this little paragraph. Members of the Berlin community are encouraged to share their thoughts with the Board of Education and are invited to do so during this segment of the meeting. When appropriate to do so, members of the board and administration may respond to comments. However, in considerations of those in attendance and in the effort to proceed in a timely manner, follow-up discussion may need to take place outside of the meeting setting. Residents speaking during this portion of the meeting will be limited to 3 minutes per resident. Do we have anybody that would like to say anything? No teachers or faculty, or because that's all that's left. Go, yes.
If no one else is going to speak, I think it's probably the most appropriate thing. Too bad everyone just left, but I did want to say a special thank you to the administration at Berlin High School for a wonderful graduation on Friday. Eileen Eustace and Katie Amenta, Barbara Ventura, Nick Smith, and your entire team. It was an outstanding afternoon. The weather certainly was very cooperative for all of us, but also a special thank you to Helen DeRito for all of your coordination, emails, coordinating, organizing. It really was, for any of people that were there, it was just perfect. It was well organized. It was a proper length of time. The kids knew exactly what to do. The weather was wonderful. It was just a great atmosphere all the way around. So I want to thank everyone that spent the time and effort in putting that together. And Helen, I apologize for my tardiness in responding to some of your emails at times, but do appreciate everything that all of you did to make the day very special for the parents, the graduates, and the relatives that were there on Friday. So thank you.
Okay, consent agenda.
I'll move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second. I'll second.
Carrie did Adam first, and then Carrie second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, consent agenda carries 8-0. Okay, moving on to new business. Let's see here. Are you presenting the Visiting Nurse Association?
Speak to that.
Oh, you're fine.
The Berlin Visiting Nursing Association we have an agreement. The school nurses are not employed by the school district. They're employed through the VNA. So we have a new agreement with the Visiting Nursing Association from effective for the year. So what it effectively states is that the VNA will provide the service to the schools. Therefore, the school nurses are visiting nurses. So they have a responsibility beyond the schools and to also act as a visiting nurse for the town.
Do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve the agreement between the Berlin Board of Education and the Berlin Visiting Nurse Association for 2022 through 2023.
I'll second.
Motion by Adam, second by Melissa. Any comments, questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Vote carries 8-0. Moving on to the copiers.
Sure. If you want more detail, I'm going to ask Ashley, our finance director, to come forward. But we have a new agreement with copiers. The current copier contract, the new agreement will save us considerable amount of money over time. The previous lease that we were into, this new contract bought out that old lease and allowed us to replace copiers that were becoming outdated, and the upkeep more efficient, better price on toner and so on. If you'd like more detail about the copier contract, Ashley can provide much greater detail. Would you like her to come forward and?
It's up to you guys. You want more info? Nope, you're good.
I think we're saving money and we're getting the same service, if not better, so.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Good. Saving money is good. Okay, a motion?
I'll move to authorize the superintendent or designee to sign a 5-year multi-function copier, printer, and scanner lease with the Office Works to lease various devices throughout the district for the Board of Education's annual cost of $39,302 plus usage charges.
Second?
Motion by Adam, second by Tim. And do we have any questions or comments?
Nice job, Ashley.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Vote carries 8-0. Okay, moving on. Oh, policy revision. Second readings.
I'll start with a motion that the board adopt revised policy 5131.911 and new policy 6141.9 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion by Tim, second by Adam. And do I have questions or comments?
I mean, we talked a little bit at the last meeting about these policies. The bullying prevention is one that we've had. It was largely language that was changing with the times and law from the state. The 6141.9 policy on advanced courses and programming, a challenging curriculum, I think as we talked about last month, was just a memorialization of what we've been doing here in the district for a long time. So I think it was a welcome policy to add to our list, just kind of putting all of that into policy to say that we're doing what we're doing. To my knowledge, we did not get any significant response or commentary back from anybody in the last month, so these policies are good to go.
Anybody else?
Just make a statement.
Yeah.
Just so the whole entire board knows and the public knows, our policies are reviewed by Shipman and Goodwin, so we're aligned with what needs to be by law with the state when we're talking about the bullying policies and things, so.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Vote carries 8-0. Okay, on to discussion about our equity statement. Do you want to start?
I know that we left off at our workshop a week ago Monday with the draft equity statement. I know it was sent to everybody after the meeting, and I know Debbie sent it also. And I thought that when Julia was at the meeting last, the thought was to have a discussion about that statement. Wasn't sure if people had comments. I know there was some emails after asking for some clarifications and questions that I had with individual board members. But the thought, I think originally by Julia, was that there'd be some discussion whether it needed to be adjusted, modified, that we wouldn't come to a vote tonight. It would just be a discussion about it.
Okay, so open it up. You want to start, Jamie?
Sorry, yes. So I have a couple of things to say. I've been on the board, this is my 7th year. We have worked very hard in the last, especially 3 to 4 years, about transparency on this board. And in order to move forward and be able to do what I feel, and I would hope for the board, to do the best for our kids, we need to make sure that we voice what our opinions are, what our thoughts are as a board. So I know that an email had come in from Gina about some thoughts, and again, we all have concerns, issues, and I think it's very important that we bring those forward so as a board we can talk about them and discuss any concerns that you guys would have, so that we're addressing what the needs are of our students. There are 2,700, I just asked Brian, there's 2,700 students in our district. We talked at the workshop about making the environment for our students safe, so they feel safe. One of my suggestions would be for board members. I have the privilege of being in the school system because of what I do. I'm the social worker for the town. I deal with the middle school kids the most, but I've been in the elementary and most certainly at the high school. We have kids that are going into the hospital almost weekly because of unsafe experiences that they're feeling, whether it be suicidal thoughts, anxiety, depression, if they're dealing with sexual identity issues. We as a board are expected, I would hope, by all 2,700 families to make our children feel safe, have our staff feel supported, give the support to our staff to make our children feel safe. I have 2 kids in the school system. It is not my responsibility on this board to just cater to my 2 children. My responsibility is to cater to all 2,700 kids and to the staff that are assisting them. So if we have staff that need support, don't know what to do, don't know how to talk to kids, are concerned about how to move forward, regardless of what their personal values are, because when you work with children, you want to make sure, I would hope, that they feel safe, secure, and have a place to go where they're able to voice those concerns, because sometimes at home, they're not able to. So one of the words I used at the workshop, which is a horrible word, is tolerance. And unfortunately, sometimes in this town, it's not about acceptance, it's about tolerance. And I wish to, I mean, believe you me, I wish we could use acceptance, because as a social worker, that's what I want to say. So when we talked about it at the workshop, we talked about, and I used empathetic tolerance, because the families that I work with, unfortunately, are not accepting of what their kids' choices, as they put it, their kids' choices are. So we talk about tolerance. And what I was trying to say in the workshop is, again, a horrible word, but in this town, there are certain families that really are struggling. And why would we not offer support to those families, to those children, and to those staff? So as board members, if we don't agree, or we don't agree with how kids should be safe, or as an equity statement, what should be done, then we need to voice it, because our job as the 9 members is to make sure that these 2,700 kids have the best possible environment to learn in, to have social and emotional growth, and to be able to feel safe. And I think when we were talking last week about having all of our students, regardless of where they come from or what's going on, we said all students should feel safe. So please, let's open it up and talk about, if you don't agree with the PD that we're offering the staff, or some of the situations that these kids are coming forward with, let's talk about it.
Thank you. Anybody want to respond or voice their opinion or ask questions?
I think it's safe to say that we pretty much agreed on making sure that our children are safe. All the kids, not just, as you said, your own children. I think we came to that consensus on Monday that we want what's best for the students. The words that we used, we were very non-specific, so as not to incite any controversy. So I thought that that was well done. So I don't think there's really a discord here in terms of disagreement, in terms of the statement. I think we just had to work through what it meant, where it was going to go next. I think we had questions about what this means as a statement, where it's going to lead, what it might lead to in terms of what we're responsible for. I think it's a lot of pressure to, to say that the board is responsible for all of these students. I know what you mean. I mean, it's a wonderful, noble statement, but I think, realistically, we have to be realistic in that it's not possible to possibly protect every single child. And I'm not saying that that wouldn't be perfect in a perfect world, but it's a lot of pressure. It's a very big statement, and it's a big thing to fill. I don't want to have the expectation be such that if we don't fulfill it in some way, whatever it is, that we're going to be held accountable, I guess, or looked at as not holding up to what we said. I just don't know. Being new to this, words are very difficult to come up with, and sometimes they can have double meanings or different meanings depending on who you are.
It's not our role as a board, though, to determine what we're doing, how we're doing it. We're trying to come up with a statement of support, and then we charge the superintendent and his office to form what that support means. And then they will come back and give a presentation to the board, and the board will determine whether or not we think that provides an adequate answer to our position. That's the beauty of this design. We don't know what we're doing. Brian is a professional, his staff are professionals, they go to the seminars, they read the books, they know a heck of a lot more about this topic than we do. We have a little bit of knowledge, some of us more than others, but it is based on their presentation to us that we have to determine if it's what's going to be right for the district. And again, that's just from the support of that endeavor. Again, we're not going to be the ones to implement it. It's going to be Brian and his team who will turn that vision into a reality. We're here to support it, we're here to fund it, or at least endorse the funding of it, and to go forward from there. So
I understand that.
the trepidation about what we're saying as to whether or not that's going to succeed is less rather the goal of this statement. It is more of a foundational statement of, do we support this as a board and the notion of working towards it.
Yeah, I think that's an important point, is that we are looking, I think one of our charges as a board is to take in information from our community, our larger community, and help to create a vision. And then the educational community devises the how, right? Devises the ways by which to execute a plan to reach that, or to make that vision materialize or manifest. But just to kind of go back to a little bit, of course, Jamie and I kind of occupy similar spaces in terms of our professional world. And I think what I hear in some of what is being said by everyone, and sometimes word choice, we get hung up on word choices, but is that we really need to, and I do think this is our charge as a community, whether we're a member of the board or we're a member of the faculty or administration or a member of the community, is to ensure in whatever way possible that our children all have a sense of belonging, right? Like everyone belongs in our community and they feel like they belong, because just for who they are. And so we find ways to, for them to kind of link arms with one another and to move forward and grow and be who they are and feel good about who they are, because that makes a big difference in terms of their overall well-being. You know, I will say, just to be a little nerdy, statistically speaking, children's mental health was really taking a dive before the pandemic. Mental illness has risen dramatically over the last couple of years among children. I think the last statistic I saw was like 1 in 4 point some odd children under the age of 12 has a clinical level of depression and or anxiety. That is not okay. My husband, who works in a different district, 5th grade teacher, had 2 children transported for serious risk of injury to themselves, 5th graders, in 1 week. That's not okay. So when kids don't feel like they are, like they belong, like they are accepted, like they are well mentally, emotionally, we as adults need to do whatever in our power to protect them and care for them. Kids are a vulnerable population, and so I think that is part of our charge as a Board of Education, and beyond as members of a board, as members of a larger community. So that's my. more than 2 cents.
So, I don't know if somebody else was speaking. I just wanted to add, you know, as we have, multiple members have said, the students have come first and will always come first. And when looking at the draft statement that we came up with, it would be really hard, obviously, to argue the words that are using. This is the ultimate goal, you know, in which we would obviously want to withhold our district. One of the things that got brought up, and you know, as I was thinking about it, just even looking over the new policies that we have this statement, yet I feel these things are already driven already in our district through policies that we have, et cetera. So, not saying that this statement isn't needed. I see all, like, if that makes any sense.
I think what you're saying is that it goes without saying that we would certainly take all of those facets into consideration. Yeah. I mean, I think it was Adam that said it's common sense. I mean, I know that sometimes we don't use common sense, but I think for the most part, this board and this community is not looking to disassociate anyone from the community. I think that we want to bring the community together. I think in lieu of COVID, I think in lieu of what Carrie just said with the mental health being, you know, on the rise and the kids with the suicide and whatnot, I just don't know how we would not want that for our community. I don't even think that's something that we should be arguing. I think, but what you're saying, Melissa, is, are we reinventing the wheel? It's already been stated. Isn't it in our mission statement? Isn't it in, I don't know. I mean, do we need this in order to go forward? Or is it just something that we want to do to allow the community to know that we are on board and we are going to follow through?
In my mind, it's not common sense, because at the beginning of this school year, we had members of the community, which they're in every right, coming in here angry, screaming, yelling. We have emails that we've all read as board members that are coming into Brian, to us as board members, about what should be taught at PDs, how it should be taught, what is appropriate for the kids to be learning, what's not appropriate. And it all has to do with, in my mind, about inclusion. And we have a PD day that's coming up tomorrow to talk about supporting our staff with dealing with transgender LGBTQ students. And there's questions about if that's appropriate, or why is that appropriate, or shouldn't that be taught at home? It's not common sense. If it was common sense, these kids would not be going into the hospital. They wouldn't feel scared to go home and talk about this stuff with their families. They would have people at school and educators at school who they feel comfortable talking to. They wouldn't be ending, in the hospital. Again, I can't say that enough. They're going to the hospital. So if the staff, and I don't care if it's 5 staff members or all of the staff members, are asking for ways to have supportive techniques or support in general to work with kids that are struggling, then to me, let's give them all the support that they can absolutely utilize, regardless of what your core values are at home. It is our staff's job, it is our job to ensure, again, the safety of our students, and like Carrie said, a sense of belonging, and my gosh, I hope a sense of acceptance. So I wish it was, common sense, but it's not, because the amount of incidences that Brian had said in the report, we had 76 incidences, or 78, Brian, that's unacceptable, you guys. That to me is unacceptable. You have all these incidents going on, and us as a board, We need to do whatever it is. It is our responsibility to ensure that we offer all of the support that we can to Brian, to the staff, to our students. And I will refuse to walk away from being on this board and say that I personally did not do everything I possibly could to support our teachers, our staff, and if we have community members, and we do have some, that maybe there's 20 of them that don't like the fact that we're supporting our transgender kids, I'm sorry, I don't care, because I support them, and I want to do whatever I can to make sure that their families, their friends, everyone feels supported, they're called whatever name they want to be called, their pronouns are used, so that they feel safe and secure. So, sorry, that's my thought process.
Oh, yes, please.
I just want to echo what was just said. Like, I think personally that this statement is so necessary, and if, like what Ms. Miller said, that if we go through PDs and the ideals in this statement are normalized through whatever, through the PDs and then through just how a teacher acts in a classroom or the way that they hold their lesson, there are going to be so many students who feel welcomed and comfortable going to school, where school might be the only place where they're comfortable. So I just think that this is really important to work on, and I appreciate that you guys are taking the time to do that.
I really appreciate you saying that, and I really also appreciate you using the term normalize, because I think the more we talk about mental health and the importance of mental health in our schools, the more we allow us to just talk about it as a normal part of health and well-being, equal to physical health, right? It's a part of our health. I also want to correct something I said before. I think I said 1 in 4.4 when I really should have said 4.4%. I don't want any of my academic colleagues or community members to come back at me for a misquoted statistic, but it was 4.4% of kids, and I think under 12 or maybe under 13 that had been diagnosed with a clinical level of depression or anxiety prior to the pandemic. So that's only proliferated since, which is millions of children, millions and millions.
So just for the record, I just want to make sure that staff doesn't think that I'm not supportive of them. I certainly am supportive of all teachers. I have the highest respect for teachers. I don't know how you do your job. It's to have to do your job and then go home to do another job with your families. I can't even imagine. So that is not my point in saying that I don't support teachers, especially with everything that's gone on. I'm just asking the questions because this has never been, something that we've talked about before. This has never really been going on in society before. So it's all new. I think the questions need to be asked before we just plow through something that's delicate, somewhat controversial in some ways, depending on how you're looking at it. So when it comes to those issues, teachers training, I understand teachers need to know how to deal with students that are coming to them with topics that they haven't been exposed to before. I get that. But where does it stop? I guess is my question. Where are we going with this? When is this going to be, what's the end game? Are we just going to keep, I don't want to use that word. I don't know. I'm asking because I really don't understand. Where does this stop in terms of how we're going to make everybody feel included? I mean, we have a statement and we have teacher training, and then is that going to be enough? Are people going to finally say, okay, I'm good now. We have a statement, and teachers are now able to call me by the right pronoun, and I feel included. So then we're good for a while, and then it's something else. I don't know.
That's exactly it.
I don't think it's ever going to stop. Yeah, it's just, this is weird now. Our society, the world around us, and I've said this privately before, when we locked ourselves, I believe, away, and our children for 2 years, and we let them out, we all came out to a different world. It changed so quickly. And this is a tough conversation to have, which is good. This is rubbing us, some people, the wrong way, this and that, and it's good that we're open and we can talk about this. but it ain't going anywhere. This is a roller coaster ride that is just gonna keep on going. Now, we can choose to put walls up and.
Linda, don't leave yet. Hold on. This is an ever-changing thing, and Linda walking out the door, I don't want her to miss this part. Special education is this for our generation.
That's
right? I think back to when
exactly.
we were kids, special education was this tiny little room in the building.
The
And
small bus.
it was not anything extravagant. Now, coming into the board for the last 11 years, learning about all of the things that have developed in special education and the disciplines and the variations of everything, that's the evolution over the last 15 or 20 years, if not longer. This is the next 15 or 20 years, and it's going to take time because, like Jamie said, people are not just ready to jump in this pool. There are a lot of people here and across the country and across the world who have no understanding of this and don't want to hear anything about it. And that's why we need to continue to say these words and talk about these concepts so that people can understand it, in the same way that we've had to do with special education over the last 10 or 15 years, to get people to understand that it's not just the whatever colloquial term we used back in our time for what those kids had going on, when it was really 1,000 things going on possibly at that time.
And
So what's next, who knows?
You're right, Tim, on the whole special education. I mean, I can remember when it was first introduced many years ago, No Child Left Behind. We were going to be integrating special education children into a regular classroom, and they weren't going to be in the little rooms. And our children were going to be peer models, and our children were going to learn about special education and that they're not any different. And I remember society was difficult. It was like, no, because they're going to influence my child. Remember that? And special education may rub off on the children that maybe doesn't have any. And it took a while, but now it's the norm. Now all of our children are together, and there is no difference. And some people are pulled out for certain services, but everybody is treated the same. And it's kind of the same thing going on.
I think it's also important to remember that it's okay for us to, in fact, it's important for us to change our opinions and to change our practices as we get new information and learn new things, right? So that's a constant change. In fact, I think that's like a sign of intelligence, right? Like it is one of those things that as we get more information and new information, we question, like, does this make sense for us right now? Or should we be doing things differently? And so it should be sort of an evolution of practices and perspective and approaches to doing things. And I think that speaks to the points that have been previously made with respect to all of our educational practices, our policy, our board policies, our anything that we do really in this life is as we gain new information, we reflect on that and we perhaps have a new way of, we've gained new insight and have a new way of approaching things.
Anybody have anything else they'd like to say? Matt, anything?
I only want to say that these are all new issues is a lie. These have been around for generations. It's just now they're in the open because of the way society communicates now. There's more things that are out there. We learn more. This is going to go on. This is never going to end. We'd have to continuously be ready to change our education system based on what the needs of the students are at the time that they're in schools. For us, it's the students to my left that are going to make a huge amount of change because they've already normalized the acceptance of this. But it has to start with us now to be able to hand it off to them. I'm not sure what else I can say on it other than, look, these issues can be considered controversial. If you want to make them controversial, they're controversial. I don't see them that way. To me, they're real issues, and they need to be addressed. So that's just where I am with this.
Adam, anything?
No, in you know, unfortunately, I missed some of the workshop the other night. But I think, as everyone has eloquently said, you know, this is, we are going to try to do, as a board, everything we can to support each and every student, regardless of what their needs are. And if that's going to take an equity statement, if it's going to take training, if it's going to take PD for teachers, or you know, additional safe spaces for students, you know, whatever it's going to take, we need to do. We need to provide, and I think it is going to be an evolving requirement over time, whether the equity statement, you know, evolves just as our mission statement has. But I think that, like anything else, you know, it is a living document, it's a living statement that's going to have to evolve over time and to meet the needs of our students. And if it's not getting it done next year, then we're going to have to come back and adjust it so that we are accommodating as many students as possible. It's no one's goal to let any child fall behind, or not be safe, or feel like they don't belong. If that was, you know, that as a board, we need to do everything we can to ensure that we provide as much as we can for each and every student. So.
Thank you. Anybody else, or Brian?
The only thing I'd like to add is about the policy versus the equity statement. In my mind, the policy does state what the board expectations are, and it's our job to implement the policy and adhere to it. The statement gives an understanding of the board's position on something to the public, to the teachers, to the community. And therefore, what happens to support that statement, as Adam said, it's something that's looked at annually and then adjusted based on the needs, based on the board's perspective on something. So looking at what was drafted the other night, I think it really speaks to the safety and acceptability of all students. You know, that respectful, welcoming environment where positive relationships are fostered. Yes, that should be happening. It does. There are policies, such as bullying policy, that states that we're going to address it, but the bullying policy is more reactive. If this happens, this is what you need to do. This is where you're going to go with it. It's not the proactiveness of, okay, we need understanding because we know this is happening. The policy doesn't state that you're supposed to be proactive to address it. You could, but the policy doesn't state that explicitly. This policy says you have to adhere to these areas.
Just real quick, which probably should have been done in the beginning, because I don't think it's behind us. Can I just read what it is? Because I think the people watching have no idea what this policy, or this, not policy, this statement that we're talking about.
You might want to say it hasn't yet.
Oh, and it's not even on the website. It hasn't been approved. We just started this, and this is from, this isn't rushed because we had started this a couple years ago when the committee was created and how everything, we don't need to get into how it was evolved and everything happened. So this would be an equity statement. This isn't the final thing. This is our first rough draft. It says, we believe every student deserves fair and inclusive opportunities to succeed in a learning atmosphere where the student has the ability to achieve their full potential through a safe, respectful, and welcoming environment where positive relationships are fostered. And that's what we started. It hasn't been approved, it's not even finalized, but that's the statement that we're all talking about. No wordsmithing. Anything else before we move on? Since there's not a vote, it was just an open discussion. And thank everyone for being honest and open, and it's nice to, you know, have a board that we can communicate and talk to. So this was nice tonight. Okay, so if nothing else, we'll move on. I see that these are all executives, so should all of this go in?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so we'll need, Tim, I'm going to have.
First, right? We're going to ratify the contract before?
Well, this is executive session.
Oh, that too. Okay.
See,
I'm
all
sorry.
of it is,
You're
so
right.
I'm going to.
My apologies.
Have you do your motion.
All right. Denise?
Who are we inviting?
Denise and myself.
Yes, okay. So I will move to enter into executive session to discuss contract negotiations, inviting the Director of HR and the Superintendent with us.
I'll second.
Motion by Tim, second by Jamie. Any discussions? Then we'll have a vote. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Vote carries 8-0. Okay, we will meet in executive session and then come out later on. Welcome back. We are coming back at 9:41. And do I have a motion for consideration?
I'll move to approve the tentative agreement between the Berlin Board of Education and the Nutmeg Independent Unions, clerical and secretarial employees for the period of July 1, 2022 through June 30, 2025.
Do I have a second? I'll second. Motion by Carrie, second by Jamie. Any questions or comments? Okay, a vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Vote carries 8-0. One more item.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, Jamie. Motion, second? Okay, wait, who seconded, Matt? Matt, second. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? Vote carries to adjourn at 9:42. Bye.